Hey guys, Ferno here, bringing you the next chapter of Redstone tutorials. In this tutorial, we are doing simple redstone contraptions, so I can give you guys a basic idea of what you can do with redstone. So pretty much I'm gonna give you guys a short review of what you do with redstone, in case you did not fully understand it from chapter 1, and I'm going to show you what you can use it for and give you some examples as to what you can do with what you've learned so far. I will do another redstone contraptions later on in a future chapter with more complex designs, but I'm going to give you guys this for now so it's nice and juicy, and yeah. So anyway, here is the simple redstone contraptions. So why don't we just go ahead and take a look here. First and foremost, I want to come over here and describe more about the redstone. As you remember from chapter 1, the yellow area is the area that redstone, when it's turned on, this is the area that is afflicted by the redstone. This is the area that can be powered, or is possibly powered by the redstone. And that's what we're going to use yellow blocks to represent. These two blocks represent possible or powered blocks. Weakly powered blocks, as you may. So assumably, if I turn this on, both contraptions are working. But as you notice, only out of these two contraptions that are definitely powered by redstone, only this one is working. Why is that? I mean, why would just redstone work, a redstone lamp work, but the piston not work? Well, here's the trick. What is the difference between the two? The difference is the redstone's being directed here, as the redstone's being indirected. Although the redstone is powering all these blocks, and putting another redstone, the power flow is being guided, per se. So, if I were to flip this lever instead, I've actually turned on the piston, because the power is being guided to the piston, but the power here is being guided away from the piston. If I were to, for example, destroy this block, the power is redirected back to just the piston. To give you guys probably a better example, here is that same design as over there, showing you where the redstone can possibly powered, or is weakly powered. And here is an example of what happens when it's directly powered. The weakly powered blocks here are where the power can go, and where the power might be going. Whoops. But the red blocks here represent where the power is going. So if, for example, if I were to, hang on, I need to place dirt down. If I were to place a piston here, and a piston here, and I forgot my lever. Only one piston's working, and that's where the power is directed to. But the indirect power cannot activate this piston. It has not enough juice. So, but it is possible to send the power this way if you were to put another redstone down. But so we're going to use red blocks to represent highly powered blocks, or they're the blocks where the direction of the current is going. Now let me fix up the time here. I hope you guys can understand that. It's easier to understand in my mind than it is for me to say. But pretty much from here, it's just when you're making redstone contraptions, you need to keep in mind, although the redstone powers these blocks, you need a more direct current. It's kind of like loose electricity. Anyway, I want to come over here and show you guys a pretty darn cool redstone phenomenon. Here's a redstone torch. Here's a redstone. As you may have, I'm not sure if you know this, but redstone torches are one of those torches that stays on all the time. But why is this torch off? That is a mystery. Well, let's turn on this redstone and find out. We'll flip it on and destroy the... And we will destroy the lever. What happened? As you can see, when the redstone's activated, it powers this block. And when the block is powered, it turns off the torch. The torch is supposed to be on, and when the torch is on, it powers this block, which then powers up the redstone. So you got this cycle going in continuously, but then it speeds up as it's going. So it's going faster and faster and faster until finally the redstones cannot take it anymore and they burn out. The redstone dust is just neutral, so it only goes on when it's told to go on. But the torch going too fast, it burns out eventually, because it's supposed to stay on continuously, only to turn off when it receives a current. But it keeps feedbacking on itself, so it produces probably the world's fastest redstone clock for a millisecond before it burns out. So this is like a temporary redstone clock, but I actually don't know. I don't know if you can use it for anything. Hang on, let me see if I can actually drag a redstone current out. See if I can actually... I gave it a redstone update, so that's why it turned it back on. But let's see, let's try to... Dang. Yeah, you got the world's fastest redstone clock that will actually destroy itself in the process. Let's turn off the rain. It makes this place dark. We don't like the dark. Wait, what? Oh, I forgot to fall. So let's break this so that way this piston won't go mad. Alright, now let's go over here. Here is going to be our first contraption of this chapter. Looks basically like a farm, except a little more complex. Well, it is a bit more complex. As you can see, all the wheat is ready to be harvested. But I don't know about you, but I've had a hard day. I don't want to go out in the fields and harvest all my wheat. Well, luckily for me, I've got this little lever here. I just flip it on, and boom, all of it's harvested for me. I've just harvested all that wheat. But now I can't grow anything because there's all this water here. Well, I'm just going to have to turn off the water. And now, ta-da. So all I have to do is go on, collect my spoils. I've got 30, so I can make 10 bread. And then replant my seeds. Simple as that. Anyway. So this is an automatic harvester. You can use it. You use it by just flip it on. Harvests your crops, and turn it off. This design's actually inspired by Maximum Fire. He made an automatic harvester on the first Gold Guild server. I believe I've covered that in my second episode. But anyway, so I went ahead and brought it up, replacing all the wood planks with glass. So this is the exact same replica of the below design, except with glass. So you can actually see what's happening within the inside. So as you can see, there's water in here to keep the crops all wet. That's what's hiding underneath these wood blocks. And this wood just keeps the soil wet. Then I hide it. But then we put this water here, so for the harvesting, and then we got the actual control down here. Here's the lever, and then I dug underground and put some redstone here, and as you notice, the redstone's on. Well, that's because I left the lever on, because the only way to keep the pistons extended is to put power into them. So even though the water's at an off state right now, the pistons are actually on. So in order to keep the water off, I have to turn the power on. Kind of ironic, isn't it? But anyhow, because of that direct power thing I was mentioning earlier, I could not, at least not in this particular design, I could not put the redstones directly next to the pistons. So I used repeaters to direct the power to the blocks underneath the pistons, which then activated the pistons. And therefore, the pistons were activated, And if I turn this off, all the power gets drained, and everything is harvested. So that's pretty much the harvester. Turn the water off, actually activate the redstone, activate the pistons, and go down and collect the spoils. So, anyhow, now what I've got, and here's the next thing. Let's say you're making an adventure map. You want someone to press this button and teleport. So I press the button and hey, I teleport. And as you may also notice, I've also got regeneration. Pretty much, it's a simple design. You just put a button there, and it turns on the redstone that goes to this command block, which, I'm not covering command blocks, but the command block teleports me to those coordinates, whoops, and which teleports me to here. The only thing I wanted to show in this design is that you can also, you can use redstone to also power other command blocks. With the redstone powering the blocks below it, it also powers this command block, which gives me this effect, which happens to be regeneration. So with that effect, I get regeneration as soon as I spawn onto the next onto the teleportation platform. But if I wanted to add more effects, I just add more command blocks, and I can select a command into them individually, giving them each a different command, and then I can get a different effect as I teleport. I can even probably set in like a spawn command that I teleport, and all of a sudden 20 zombies spawning on me. That'd be unpleasant. That's what you can use for it. Alright, so what I have here now is a well, honestly, I think this was what used to be, is what we used to use for a repeater before repeaters existed. But it's also something you can use to make a redstone current climb vertically. Because as you notice, you have to place redstone blocks and like so, and the only way to get them to climb is to like build a staircase. Well, here's an alternative to get them to build to get the power up vertically without having to build a staircase system. And pretty much how it goes is there's the torch. It activates this block, which turns off this torch. Then I put this torch down, turns off this torch, turns off this, and with this being off, the current stays off on top. But therefore, even with an off state down here, it's off up here. As long as you get the right number of redstone torches. But I turned it on, which turns off this torch, so this torch turns on, which turns off this torch, so this torch turns on, which turns off this, and so on and so forth. And finally we got this torch that turns on, which was previously off, so therefore the redstone above it is activated, and activates the piston. So I just successfully managed to control whether or not I've managed to control a piston that was much higher than the actual controller. I got the redstone current to successfully climb vertically up this, I want to say 10 block wall. But this is pretty much an easy system to use. And actually, I'm using it for a future contraption, so keep this system in mind. Now, here's another thing I want to show you guys. We all know what a cobblestone generator is, or at least those of us who have played Skyblock. This is like the one way to get cobblestone. You break it, it forms up again. You break it, it forms up again. It's not even a waste of resource, it produces resource. As long as you don't mess up with the water, because if you mess up with the water, you break it and you get obsidian. And then you have to like hope you can find some more lava to start over again. But besides from that, I've taken this concept and inspired by another person who happened to be I don't know his name. He was like just showing off this contraption he made with redstone, a wall generator. He made this wall generator, and honestly, I think he's trying to impress me, and I was not as impressed as he would hoped. but feel bad for him. But I took his concept and altered it in a better form, because his concept was to try to make it like fully automatic, and by the way he's doing that, the wall was like not coming up quite as well. But here's kind of the concept. You put the lever here, and you're actually, whatever cobblestone is produced, you're actually pushing it away, and therefore, oops, I went too early that one. Whoops. And you've got a long stream of cobblestone, which is then stopped by this piece of obsidian. Then, I just flip this lever, and it all comes up. And then I repeat the process. And I do that until I am satisfied with the wall height. As you can see, because I can't see it from underneath, so pistons cannot push without being ability to push the obsidian block. The piston gives up, and then I just make the wall, and then I got empty space in there. So I can keep going until I'm satisfied with how high the wall is. Sadly, this would only work with cobblestone, because cobblestone is the only thing that produces when water and lava is mixed. So I don't think you can make another wall generator with like wood planks or something. But like with the harvester, I've taken this concept, replaced actually a lot of blocks. I mostly replaced the quartz, but I also replaced some of the sand too, and replaced it with glass so we can actually see the inner mechanics. As you can see, the lever powers this up, and I forgot to turn these off when I was testing to make sure it worked, but the lever powers that up, drags the cobblestone down, and then I activate this, which brings up all the pistons from underneath, and then brings the wall up one level, and bring them back down. Pretty much I power up the redstone beneath the lever, because believe it or not, if you guys did not know, redstone counts as a block. It's if I'm highlighting it, it's like probably like less than a quarter of a block. It's like, well, yeah, it does. It's a quarter. It's probably even less. It's probably 1/16 of a block, but it still counts. In Minecraft mechanics, it still counts as one block. So I'm technically powering this block area, even though I'm just powering this small little thing that is not even touching this block, but it still counts. So, flipping the lever, I activate it, activate all the repeaters, which direct the current to the pistons themselves, and the pistons raise up. And therefore, I'm able to produce a wall with this design. It may not be the most effective, but you don't even have to use up any resources. So I mean, you could probably build a cobblestone wall faster than this thing can, but if you don't want to spend your time digging up all that cobblestone, this is probably the best method. And hey, unlike a skyblock, this is the best method to actually produce cobblestone without having to worry about it getting burnt up in the lava. Alright, now here we have the final design of this tutorial. Let's say I built a safe, and I want my diamonds. So, I'm walking here, and I know my diamonds are behind this wall, but no one else knows, it's just me. But how do I get past this wall? Because, look, there's no door. Oh wait, there's a lever. Just flip it. Oh, hey, there's my entrance. Now I can come over here and get my diamonds. Pretty simple. It's actually a simple piston door. I used to call these redstone doors just because you use pistons, but it's actually more referred as a piston door because you use pistons to make them. But anyway, I went ahead and took this design, replaced all the stone, and blowed it up here with some glass. So here's the exact same design, except replaced with glass. And as you can see, let's start from the bottom. Well, actually, let's start with the lever. The lever's down here. It powers up. It's doing things at once. First off, I'm sorry guys. It's powering this block. When the block is powered, it's keeping this torch off. And it's also turning on the redstone below the block itself. When the redstone on the block is turned on, it comes around and powers up these two pistons. Because the only way to keep the door closed, the pistons must be on. And the sticky pistons raise up the glass here. Brings it up. So you got the lower half of the door all set. But with this torch being off, it keeps this torch on, which then activates the redstone above, which then powers up these two pistons and keeps the top half of the door closed. So technically, even though the door is closed, the whole system is turned on. So when I flip the lever to turn it off, I open up the door. Because when I turn the lever off, there's no more power being brought to these pistons because I turned off the power and they bring it down. But up here, using that same concept as on that vertical thing, the torch is able to turn on with the power being off, which turns off this torch, which then no longer feeds power into the top half, so the pistons turn off as well. And therefore, the door opens completely. There's also guys, if you may have not noticed, that I have a block of glass right here. I had to place it down to build this, but as you may have noticed, it's black. The only reason it's black is to represent that that's empty space. There is no blocks in that area. So I didn't want to confuse you guys, like you guys build a glass, well, this is glass, but build like a plane here and then can't figure out how to connect the redstone. Well, part of it's because there's a gap there, and actually I can come down and show you guys. Here's the gap right here. The glass that I've placed down is like right about here. I'm using that concept of glass being able to redstone to be able to transverse through glass. So despite the glass being there, in reality there's an empty space in that spot. So I just want to let you guys know that when you make this, if you make this type of door, you need to put that block there. But this is just a simple door. I mean, you can make a much farther complex door, and I'll probably try one in the more complex part of the tutorial. But pretty much this is how we this is a simple res piston door, and it should give you guys a general idea on how you want to make like secret doors for adventure maps or just for your base in general. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this chapter of Redstone tutorials, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Post any feedback of any questions that you have regarding these designs or any other questions you may have. I'll be happy to answer them as best as I can. And let me know what you want to see for future tutorials. I already got my tutorial plans mapped out, but if you want to see something in particular, I can try to add on or make it more clarified in a future chapter. So if you guys have any feedback, that would be much appreciated. Thank you, and you guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye.